17th time the three-day festival has been held, and it seems to be getting bigger and brighter every year. In keeping with tradition, a mass was conducted to bless the fleet. And the grand sail cast followed to add the final touch. And then, from the heavens they came, right on cue. The Red Beret parachute troop floated down with the brilliant blue sky as a backdrop. For that extra bit of pizzazz, the 10 parachutists carried flares and left a colourful smoke trail in their wake. Next on the agenda, an event that appealed to the competitive spirit, the raft race. The ideal conditions merely added to the enjoyment of the day, so much so that some entries abandoned their killer instincts for a more refined and leisurely style. The winners of the event were Moorebank Apex in this rather unconventional vessel, but not to be forgotten was the youngest skipper.
Dad made you the skipper?
Yes.
Did he do any work? Did he row?
Yes.
They tell me he's a bit lazy though. Once again, thanks very much to everyone concerned. It's been a great weekend.
To round off a perfect day, the roulettes took to the sky and gave a spectacular display of their high-flying skills. The Oyster Festival will continue tomorrow.
Well, that's been very much a part of my ministry, I suppose. When I look back over the last 8.5 years, it's been bricks and mortar, but it's been very exciting. As you perhaps remember, the first day we laid the first stone, or brick, and I remember the brickie saying, "You'd make a brickie cry." And so it went up, and the ministry to the city, which has been very exciting, and in fact, I would like to pay tribute to the Lord Mayor in the way in which he supported me, and generally to the whole area for the completion of the cathedral. It's been quite remarkable. The last Dean's Appeal, which I hated launching, that fellow's asking for more money again, it came in 8 months, 82,000, hence we can consecrate the building on the 20th of November, and that in some ways will be a climax for me.
Tomorrow afternoon, these ambulances will be used only for emergency cases. The ambulance officers' stop work meeting has been triggered by a government freeze on staff levels that's left the state about 150 officers short. A partial compromise the Health Department has advertised to 50 probationary officers, but this may not be enough to prevent tomorrow afternoon's work bans being extended. The bans will cause some confusion, but should not affect genuine emergency cases.
There will be at least one officer at every ambulance station within the region, and here at headquarters the control will be manned, and also the 2 paramedic units.
That'll be enough to cover emergencies?
That's correct. There will be sufficient manpower to cover any foreseeable emergency.
The dispute is over having insufficient ambulance officers on strength. You are going to get some relief from that in this area, though, aren't you?
I have been told that we are to receive 19 new staff. As you're aware, we've been down some 26 staff for quite some time, so this will assist, quite considerably.
For anyone outside the mining industry, this is not an easy dispute to understand. On the face of it, it seems simply that the Wombo miners, now getting a production bonus of around $80 a week, want the chance to earn an extra $45 a week through increased production. But clearly, for the miners to stay on strike for 5 weeks and to vote to stay out, there's a lot more to it than that. At today's meeting, the General Manager of Wombo, Mr Colin Randall, put his company's case, saying the company had no more to give. But the Wombo miners, who earlier this year relinquished a $200 a week over-award payment to save jobs, say they won't give either.
All we've ever asked for at the LCA meetings in Auckland is our opportunity. If you've got 8 units working, 9 units working, 10, even 150 units, it doesn't matter. We want our bonus scheme based on the amount of units we're working.
The mine workers point to the fact that Wombo is one of the most productive underground mines in the state, and that the present bonus scheme was worked out when the mine was even more productive. Reorganisation of the mine and more difficult seams have meant less coal is now produced, but the mine workers say their work isn't any easier. A point of contention is the fact that members of the FEDFA at Wombo are on a separate agreement which gives them an average of $150 a week production bonus. When it came to a vote to stay out, there was no doubting the strikers' determination. They now plan to approach other pits to ask for financial support to help them stay out.
Do you think you'll get their support? Because some of those pits won't be earning as much bonus as you're earning now.
Well, we think that a lot of the pits will support us because the stand we're making is something that will probably happen in the near future, well, in the very near future, to a lot of mines in the northern districts. If this campaign of ours fails, we've never asked for anything we wasn't entitled to, and that's the main crunch of our cause.
I was surprised. The greens are very good. They putt well. I guess we're going to get a lot of wind here, but I think it'll be an interesting golf tournament. And there's a few par fours that are pretty testing, and the par fives seem to have some good length to them. You have to hit 2 good shots to get right near the greens. But I was happy. I liked the course.
The accident happened at about 6:30 this morning. While travelling south from Brisbane, the semi-trailer ran out of control on a bend near the Vales Point Road turnoff. The trailer section jackknifed over the cabin as the vehicle hit a telegraph pole. Incredibly, driver Martin Sturdy, aged 32 of Lota, Queensland, emerged from the wreckage with only abrasions to his legs. He was taken to Wyong Hospital, and by 8 a.m. the Department of Main Roads had blocked off the south lane to traffic so they could remove the wreck. The lane was not reopened until 3:15 this afternoon.
Just at present we're suffering some injuries from last week's match against Wollongong, and I won't really know till Saturday morning if they're all fit. We've got injuries to Joe Sinkowski and Bob Mountford and our 2 centre-backs. I would hope that they'll be all fit to play, because obviously you don't like to change a winning team. But if they're not, I'll be calling on some of the reserves, and I'm confident they'll do the job for us.
Ken, it must be an extremely nerve-wracking time for you as coach and also for your supporters. I mean, if you lose on Sunday, you're finished. Does this make some difference to your approach to the game?
Not really. I think if I feel pressure, then it's going to reflect on the players. And I've got the utmost confidence in the players that we will win. And I don't tend to worry about pressure, things like that.
When Dr. Hamilton becomes the new Dean of Medicine in January, he will replace Professor Geoffrey Kellerman, who has held the position since the death in November 1981 of Professor David Madison. Dr. Hamilton has worked in public health and medical education in Britain, the US and Nigeria.
Dr. Hamilton, why have you taken this position in Newcastle after working for the World Bank in Washington?
Well, this medical school is doing many of the things that I've been doing for many years in the past. I think it's doing it particularly well, I might say. And the opportunity to join the team, be part of it, is very attractive.
The Newcastle Medical Faculty has been called an experiment in community health of world significance. Do you agree with that view?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's well known outside Australia. People are obviously going to watch to see whether the things that are being done are going to work. Now, it is not an irresponsible experiment, and one of my responsibilities as my predecessors is to make sure that what is being done is indeed going to be responsibly improving the training of doctors and the health care that's going to be provided.
Queenslander Ozzy Moore was 2 under the card after 54 holes in the 4-round tournament. He played some fine golf today in an event which saw the lead change a number of times. His playing partner Bob Shearer at the end of today's play was in equal second place with 1 under. Shearer, only 5 holes previously, had held a 2-stroke lead in the event. Equal with Shearer at 1 under tonight is Marrickville professional David Saunders. Saunders made a remarkable recovery earlier in the day at the 45th hole when he sank a 14-metre putt. The ABE Jack Newton Classic continues tomorrow with an obviously tight top 3 shaping up to make it an exciting finish.
Yesterday's conclusion to the inaugural ABE Jack Newton Classic turned out to be a real cliffhanger. After leading overnight, Ozzy Moore found Victorian Bob Shearer just too hard to beat. Despite some magnificent putts by both men, Bob Shearer took out the title with a score of 4 under par. Ozzy Moore tied with another Queenslander, Wayne Grady, for second place on 3 under par. At the presentation, all 3 men expressed their appreciation to the sponsors and their admiration for Jack Newton himself. Jack says he has been trying for many years to get a major tournament in Newcastle, and he's hopeful the sponsors will continue to support the Classic and that the spectators will come out in droves to see the next big name comp.
Living here, I always get the feeling that Newcastle gets left out, you know, in major sporting events, and I think this can become a really top-class event, but the people need to get behind it. I was a little disappointed with the crowds this week, to be honest with you, and I thought they would have, not because it was my tournament, named after me, that's not why I'm saying that. I've been trying to get a tournament here now for some years, and because I feel that the people are here, and they are starved of top-class sporting events, and I feel that this is one way that the Newcastle people can show that they are genuinely interested in supporting events like this.
Lloyd Thorley, Australia's #1, the leader now. From Shepherd, who's driven well, but there's 1 to go. Jimmy White up into 3rd place. There goes the 31 car of Graham Baxter. But there's a car right over the top of Thorley. Up in the air he went. Something went wrong there. And we've got a car high in the air.
I think Lloyd Thorley must have thought it was the checkered flag.
He must have. Yes, he suddenly backed off.
He eased off. And then Bill Shepherd, it was, in the number 23, didn't he realise that it wasn't checkered flag time? Yeah.
of the organisers, Mr Terry Bennett, explains why he and 2 other directors decided to set up the school.
The famous school concept is probably a little different to another teaching program that combines both classical and modern music together as well as dancing. And at this stage there seems to be a lack of that type of facility, not only in Newcastle but all over Australia. I think the famous school program from America has highlighted the great need for young people to be in touch with the music of today to have the opportunity of learning it correctly.
In Newcastle we see a lot of conventional theatre, maybe too much, and so it was very refreshing to see New Sky, Isabel Anderson's beautiful and touching mask and mime show. New Sky reaches out to anyone who's ever felt like a stranger anywhere at any time, although on the surface it's about migrants making the painful transition to life under Australian skies. Using only her expressive dancer's body, a few simple clothes and some marvellous masks, Anderson moves smoothly from character to character, depicting Aboriginal Australians, Anglo-Saxon Australians and European Australians, all observed minutely, cleverly and funnily. It was a very warm and humane and realistic picture of Australian society. Occasionally voices accompany Isabel Anderson's mime, and that might sound like a help, but I found that they weren't really all that necessary, because the actress, by saying nothing, was providing as much as your imagination can, and let me tell you, that is a great talent. The show itself is only short, a little bit over an hour, but it's still a gem, just a small gem.
Louise has had a tremendous year in terms of results, winning the Queensland Amateur title, making the semi-finals of the Australian Amateur event and winning the Australian Junior Amateur Golf title. Along the way, she was selected to represent Australia in the Tasman Cup Series against New Zealand, and the experience has been invaluable.
Playing alongside Edwina Kendi and just being there with top players, it's really good.
A member of the Morisset Club and playing off a handicap of 1, Louise has also won the club championship on one occasion and has been defeated by her sister Marion on another occasion. In 1982 she won the TAA Cup at the Merriweather Course and also won the Pro-Am at the Matara Festival. And together the girls have won the district foursomes twice. And has Louise aspirations of turning professional?
I haven't thought of that yet.